The reason why we're here today is as part of a project that we came up with together. We always notice that during LGBTQ+ History Month, there are often very negative themes that are brought up to show our history. We wanted to flip that on its head and show actually we've made a real change in the last 50 years or so, and actually highlight how positive the change has actually been.
Actually, there was a lot of shame about being part of the LGBTQ+ community. That's changed significantly, and that's amazing to see that there's more tolerance and acceptance and people can celebrate who they are.
Certainly back in school time, where I knew someone that felt confident enough to come out, as a different gender, come out as different sexuality, and we were all accepting about that.
So one of the biggest changes that I've noticed within my lifetime is the fact that we're seeing far more queer representation in film and TV. It's not just a case of being reduced to the stereotypical camp character or the AIDS storyline. We're actually seeing a lot more queer-focused romance stories like Heartstopper, and we're seeing teen representation of what it's like to come out with Love, Simon, and actually getting to the crux of what it means to be part of the community, as opposed to the assumption of what people think we are and what society thinks that we are.
Same-sex couples can go to any provider that gives NHS fertility treatment, and as long as they meet the other eligibility criteria, which is around clinical factors like weight and health things, actually they can't be excluded from free treatment just because they're in a same-sex relationship.
The only march that I've ever actually been on was in opposition to Clause 28. Clause 28 was a piece of legislation that bans and prohibited the teaching of homosexuality in schools.
And in 2000, when the legislation was passed and it was no longer illegal to be homosexual in the armed forces, it certainly changed everything. It was absolutely mind-boggling how liberating it was for everybody in the community to be able to be celebrated and not being hidden.
The biggest change I've seen in my professional lifetime is the treatment and effective treatment of HIV and AIDS. I grew up and trained in the late 80s, and that was a time when the HIV and AIDS epidemic was at its height, and seeing how through advocacy and through activism in the LGBTQ+ community, we have made huge inroads into effective treatments for HIV, making it a chronic disease, and moving into an era where we're using PrEP as a preventative medicine to stop the spread of HIV, particularly in gay and bisexual men who have sex with men, is a huge step forward and has done a lot, I think, to help with the societal change in view to our community.
Thank you very much for watching our video project. We hope that you've learned some interesting things and also been able to see that actually there have been really positive changes for our community. Stephen and I have a really vested interest in making Salisbury Hospital as inclusive as it can possibly be. So if you're interested in joining the network or you want to reach out and find out more, then you're always welcome to get in contact with both of us.